Well, let's go ahead and get started. And Mukesh, thank you so much. By the way, hello, welcome everybody. My name is Catherine Perry, and founder of Catherine Perry Coaching Services. And I want to introduce my friend Mukesh Sharma, who's kind enough to be the technical genius and person who was really kind of the spark for this. This is something I've wanted to talk about for a long time. So, hi, Mukesh.
Hello, Catherine, and it's my pleasure and honor to be here with you. You are also such a great person, and I met many other top healers, top gurus, but in my mindset, after I met you, I felt that I found the person I was looking for, who has such a great knowledge and wisdom, and every time she speaks, there's like, gems are coming out of her mouth. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Well, thank you. Well, anyone I do business with, we kind of come in this greater space. We work in theta, we connect in through our hearts, we get aligned. And in this space is, like, we call that love. And so if it sounds like Mukesh and I are madly in love, we are, but he is a very happily married man living in Toronto, and I'm way
Yes.
over in Fort Worth, and we've never actually physically met, but we are in a big mutual admiration society because Mukesh's background. I just want to explain why I have Mukesh here if you know me, and I want to talk to you about what we're going to be learning today. We're going to be going through some experiences. I wanted to give just a little core teaching, and then I want to take you right into the experience, and then we're going to be sharing, really what Big Vision is, why we're calling it Big Vision Mastermind, what that is, and how we're wanting people to engage with us, what the invitation is. So Mukesh and I met professionally. He had actually contacted me because he had heard about me through my former company and had some questions, and he saw that we had some things in our background that were similar, and just wanted to have a discussion about what that was all about. And what I found out about him was that he's a Six Sigma black belt program manager. So if you're in the corporate world, you know what Six Sigma is, but it's actually like this whole system and structure for identifying, clarity of roles and the vision and getting the team together, and it's a way that people analyze, and there's these different levels that people go through. Corporations pay really big bucks to send people to these trainings, and then even the employees find it so valuable they invest in it. And Mukesh was able to rise up to the level of being a black belt, and what he is a genius at is, one, let's look at the big system. Then, how can we make it more efficient? But then his secret superpower, and you'll hear me talk about this, is because Mukesh thinks in terms of operations and systems, he actually is brilliant at, like, how can we systematize this value? What are the operations that would support it, which would be, what are the, behaviors, how do we communicate? And so in Mukesh's personal life, he has been a student of mind, body, spirit, and gone through years of training in his journey, and he has a desire to share in a bigger way. So Mukesh and I were talking, and I'm a creative, expressive, which means you could plug in a USB port to me, and I can connect into this big vision, and I can just produce content like nobody's business. Right, Mukesh? I think we've already come up with something like 60 or 70 topics based on like one conversation I had with somebody. Right.
That is correct. You are like a great gem, and I really, feel very honored to be here. And as she said that I was working with the processes, with the machineries, with the equipments to see the opportunities. And one of the thing I realized at a very early stage, that when I walked into any plant, I would see the opportunity just like this.
Right.
And then I would share with the management that how they can improve the processes, and how they can. There are a lot of times there are low-hanging fruits, I call them, and which being in that environment you don't see them. And but when somebody like from the outside, they just come and see that just instantly, if they are very intuitive, and or in like they have some special those abilities. And uh, and also then I later switched on to humans. I say each human has the potential. Each I start saying that I see the potential in you. And some
Mm-hmm.
people said, oh, you do? I say, yeah. And what do you want to do? Oh, I want to write a book, but I don't know how. And I say, okay, and we will sit down like just on a coffee table, and
Mm-hmm.
I call it napkin. Later on I found this napkin academy even exists, and we would draw the map on the on the napkin, and there his whole book kind of structure was there.
Right.
And or like when somebody says I don't have any knowledge and skill inside me, I'll say, okay, give me 15 minutes and I can show like, what kind of training you can deliver to people which can
Right.
improve their life.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and
Thank
really I
you.
appreciate it.
Well, and the way that this complements is because Mikesh's genius is how do we build the outer structure to support this inner piece inside of you. What I'm able to do is when I talk to someone, I see their inner structure, what their program looks like, and then my personal challenge has been how do I create that outer structure for them, because I could always see business potential everywhere. Even as a little kid, I would see something like, hey, we could do this. I grew up in a family that was entrepreneurial. We had grocery stores, but then also my dad was always looking for the next opportunity. So that just was a mindset in my family. But it can be kind of frustrating because, I feel a little bit like the kid in The Sixth Sense where I go, ooh, I see opportunity. I see businesses everywhere. But what are the actual structures that support that back end? What are those actual steps? So what stopped me, even though I had some advantages business-wise and I even had a successful business career working for other people, making other people money, what stopped me was I could not see myself as the leader in my own business. Okay, now this is a key piece that we want to talk about because I could see working in someone's business because of my training growing up as a kid. I was trained to work in the family business, and guess what else I was trained to? I was trained to work really long hours, to give 110%, to think about what everyone else needs, and I was trained to not get paid because my father did not see why he would pay his own family to work in a business that supported the family. Right? Hey, we all benefit, and then maybe we didn't even really get allowances. As a kid growing up, working in my family business, that was just to get our basic needs met, food, shelter, clothing. But my father, being having 5 kids in the house, said every kid needs 5 shirts, 5 pants. Here's your 2 dresses. That's all you get. And if you don't find it when we're going shopping, being a 5'12", I was 5'11" at age 13, right? So I'm very tall. I'm about this skinny, and there were no clothes. So often I started the school year with 1 or 2 outfits, and that's all I had because my father was just like, this is the rule, this is it, and this is how we have to do it. So what I was trained to was accept the big authority outside of myself, and if I wanted anything beyond what was given to me, I had to go work for it myself. Well, that's actually a pretty good training. That really set me up. I could see my father's positive intention, but what that set me up for was, hey, inside of the system and the business I'm in, my job's to give everything away, and if I need anything for myself, then I have to maybe go get a second job or I have to learn how to do without. That makes it really tough when you're an employee and you're working for salary or bonuses and you get directed to the other people. So all of my life it was do all of this, and I put myself last. I really did not know how to see myself as the leader. I didn't know how to see myself as someone who could actually create what I wanted for myself. I would look at job opportunities, and I want you to know I'm really not talking about me, I'm talking about you. But so many people go through this. I want to talk about it in the context of my experience. I would look in the paper and I would see job opportunities, You want to do this? And you go, my skills, I don't have skills, I can't do that. I've never done it before. Maybe I could go try it. Is there training? And I would try to fit myself into what the world told me it wanted and needed. But I knew there was something greater in me, and I really had never been exposed to personal development. This is the 70s. A lot of that's starting to come out in California, and there's this discussion, but it hadn't quite come to Irving, Texas yet in my particular sphere of influence. And I didn't really know that the things that I thought about, the questions I had, the desire in me was really about being a teacher and a communicator. And I didn't really know that I was already expressing those qualities, that I was already, I couldn't help but be myself, but the way I saw myself was someone who was limited. I'm just I'm the oldest girl, so I have to be responsible. I'm just a waitress. I'm just an apartment manager. I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm this label, and so because I have this label, here are the behaviors that are allowed me, that are expected of me, and here are the parameters that I have to operate in. Okay? And this is
Yeah.
how most of us grow up. Are you wanting to jump in on that point?
Yeah, I just want to express that even I was working as a program manager, and when this automotive industry went down, and one day I was at LA on T. Harv Ekers' World's Greatest Marketing Seminar. I
Mm-hmm.
came back, and 23rd was my birthday, and 24th when I went to office, they said, "Thank you very much. Here's your yellow envelope." And
Yeah,
this is like after 90-year working in that corporation. And at that time, you say, okay, who am I? Like,
right.
up till now, I was a program manager earning $10,000-12,000 a month actually. And
Yeah,
now, who am I? Then all these questions surface up as you just pointed out.
right. And this causes, when we have a big reversal financially, when we lose our job, when our children graduate from school. Oh, by the way, at the time of this recording, if you're seeing this later, this is Friday, the weekend before my only daughter, Lauren, gets married. And I am so happy because I did not realize, hey, beyond being happy, I didn't realize that I didn't know I wasn't done with my daughter, Lauren. Like, she's 33. And I was like, hey, now she's married. Now I can go on. But it's like, that actually, the process of her getting married, it was like, hey, there's this role I played in your life, supporting the granddaughter, and that made me kind of shift out of some other roles in my life. And it's been like, knowing that that was coming to an end, I had to say, hey, if I want to step back out in the world, what am I going to do? I did all this before. And, there's been a lot of major changes in my life in the last 3 years, especially if you've been one of my subscribers. You know that I have separated from a successful company because I really wanted to step out and say, what is my unique message? I've got some ideas I want to play with. There's ways I want to know myself as a leader and a mentor. I want to find my own voice and my own way of talking. And so there was this something rising up in me that was creating a lot of dissatisfaction. There was really not problems, I could say, hey, there could be adjustments, there could be whatever, but really I knew there was something in me that was ready to grow up and express and to step out on my own, because I'd been hiding behind the role of being support for another person. I put myself kind of in the same position of when I was in the family business of, there's my dad's agenda, here's the business, and what I need and want doesn't matter. And then let's just make sure that if I want anything more, I'm going to make sure that I set it all up, so that I have to struggle and and do other things. So I said, I really have to step out. I've got to look at these things. And then at the same time this happened, my mom, and I had actually my most successful year ever in my whole career. We were on fire. It was at the top of everything, and it was like, I can't breathe. I've got to, it's time to move forward. And my mother was diagnosed with cancer, and I knew that I wanted to have more freedom, and there was a way I wanted to be there. And then when my mom passed away, that shifted my internal role and identity from being the daughter to now I'm like the lead girl. I'm the matriarch literally in my family now. And then let's, start a new business and have some health challenges and some other things going on. So it's been a really interesting time, and the shift that happened was I had been spending a lot of time saying, what can I do? What should I do? Then when you do that, your unconscious mind goes on this search. Okay, so and this is happening to a lot of people. Okay, so you go, okay, I've got to make something happen. The money's not coming in. I've got to move to another place. I've got to get out of this situation. What do I do? I got to do something. And then you start looking at doing. But what happens is, because you've told yourself you've got to get out, that there's a problem, you've kind of activated the fear centers. Your little amygdala in your brain is going, hey, oh no, danger, danger, we've got to leave, we've got to escape, right? We've got to make something happen, but where do we go? And people are unconsciously throwing themselves into a panic mode. And they say things like Mukesh had said about a client who said, I want to write a book, but I don't know what to do. Well, if that client had actually said, you know what, I don't know what to do, but I want to write a book. That one thing, you've heard me talk about turn it around. To say, you know what, I want to set my unconscious mind on the thing that I want to do, and I'm going to focus on what result I want to achieve versus what limitation I see in my life. The people that I've had the pleasure of being around this last few years, it's really pulled me through, and when I'm going on this investigation, I made the decision that if I want to go into a new level of success, I need to be around people who are at the next level of success. How do they think? What do they talk about? How do they, what is their language? And the fact that maybe if there's no money or no experience or they don't know anybody who's ever done it before, none of that means anything. They have a way of seeing themselves as, look, I'm doing this. There must be a way to do it if I want to do it. In fact, how it gets done doesn't concern me. I just know that if I commit to it and I dedicate myself to it and do not allow anything to stop me, I will achieve it. And the interesting thing is that every one of them talk about they rush to the failure. They expect failure to be part of the job. Failure has nothing to do with how they see themselves. So the people who aren't achieving, they're focusing on how to avoid failure. Where the successful are saying, how can I get past that first failure so I can learn? And how many of these do I have to, and because nothing's going to stop them from achieving it. Are you see where I'm going? And that has to do with how they see themselves. So they're focusing on the outcome. But what I was noticing too, there was a way they saw themselves, they talked to themselves, and there was a way they were able to move themselves kind of up into what we might call superpositioning, and they would get a vision. Then they call that the 10,000-foot view. And they would rise up and look at it. Now, when you're in panic and fear and you're trying to figure it out, you're down in it. And here's what happens, if you can see my hands. But what happens is you're at that level. Now, the level that you're at right now, the level of consciousness of where you are right now, has produced it. Now, that does not mean that there does exist another level of consciousness within you that gives you the potential for doing that. In fact, there could be other areas in your life that you have success, and you could have had success in the past. And in fact, I see that, Mukesh, too, that people who have had past success, they actually kind of have trouble because they had unconscious skills and abilities that got them to that success. They think they know how they got there, but they were actually doing it unconsciously. When you first try to do things consciously, it's really uncomfortable, right? So
this is very true. And also because when we are doing things as you said, unconsciously, we are just so tuned to it, like we just keep on doing things and we just don't notice it. And also I just want to let everybody knows that this is a live recording, and I encourage thanks Joy to join with us, and also I encourage everybody to just type their questions on the chat box. We may not
Perfect.
be able to like right away answer to those questions, but we are going to look each and every question so that we can answer that into our next set of calls, because right now our focus is to walk you through in this shortest time frame with all the things which we want to discuss right now. So thank you very much, and please type your
Yeah,
questions
get
in
the
the chat
questions
box.
in on the side. Yeah. So they didn't quite know how they did it. Or, then when you're trying to figure out something new, you go, what do I do? What did I, how did you get there? It felt like it was kind of some happy accidents. Right? And go, I don't know. I met this guy. We were talking, and my dad said, go do this. And we were still kind of like, in the position that someone told us to do something, we got a little idea, we took action, we didn't think about it, but we never really looked back and said, how did I do that? But then we've kind of run to the natural end of that paradigm, right, of what that level of consciousness created. So it's like you've gained skills and resources, things in your environment have changed, and so when you go, I need to make a change, but wait, my dad's dead. He can't tell me what to do anymore. I'm not in college, so there's not all these people that are standing around going, hello, young college graduate, come this way, which when we graduated from, well, I didn't graduate from college, but when people were graduating from college, it was a little friendlier. They were starting to face some challenges, but corporations were like lining up to get them. They were giving them credit cards and putting them in apartments. There was such a big demand. Now people are leaving college and going to work at fast food restaurants. So it is a completely different world. Now we're a little older. We're not quite as bouncy. I'm not quite as willing to sleep on somebody's sofa and eat top ramen, right? I've got a few little needs. I might actually say, I might look at, hey, I've had some challenges, I've some success, maybe I've got some people I'm responsible for now. So it shifts your parameters, but you never are really seeing the truth of your potential. You're seeing the limitations of your experience that's been created by the old level of consciousness. Okay? So
This is
I know you're
very
trying.
true.
Oh, go
This
ahead.
is very true that as you just said, like people are just in their old paradigm and in their old structure, and so
Right.
they just don't see that big vision, and they kind of feel like I don't see the big vision. Why? Because I don't have any identity. They just
It
kind of got lost in this
it
new environment,
starts with it. Yeah, it starts with your
right?
identity, right? And thank you for that. When I work with energy healing, and in the energy centers of the body, in the solar plexus, which is also right where the limbic system is, where you go, oh, I'm afraid they might not accept me, or we get the emotions, that is our willpower. That is us expressing out into the world, and that is connected to our third chakra, which is our ability to see. If our block is energetically about us as a being, like I can't do it because they won't let me, then that's going to limit our parameters. This also limits the visual, but I want to come back to a point I was making. So, but let me finish the sentence. If you try to visualize based on who you think you are now, what will start coming into that vision are the limitations. So I used to tell a story about when I would imagine playing the lottery, which is my favorite game in the world. I would visualize, oh, I'm going to win the lottery. I'll like have to go to Austin, and maybe that day I didn't have gas in my car. It's like, who could I call to get gas money, right? So I'm going to go to Austin, Texas. I'm going to cash in my ticket, and then I'm going to go shopping, and we're going to go do this. And then it's like immediately this kind of worry would set in, like, should I tell my family? Should I buy a house? Do I need to get a financial planner? How many houses? And well, do I have to give it away to everyone? And suddenly this fear and unease started coming up. And next thing you know, instead of being in this beautiful fantasy of open potential that's inside of my own head, why can't I just make up what I want about it? I'm shifting back to fear of loss, of being taken advantage of having to give it all away, based on my old way of thinking. So if you are noticing that you're trying to visualize and imagine something greater, but you keep slipping back into a smaller vision, or worry or fear or doubt, or it feels circular, and then suddenly you go, I'd love to live in a big house, but who would clean it, right? I'd love to own a great big company, but then I don't want the company to take me over. You're actually talking about the role that you would be playing and how you see yourself. And this has to change. So now I'm going to come back around. I'm going to loop back around to this. Coming back into that 1,000-foot view of being able to look down and see it coming into superpositioning. When you are allowing yourself to come into a new position, and we do take people into what we call the theta brainwave. We're taking you into a visualization, but your role and position is very, very different. It's not a particular statement. We're not commanding anyone. We're not calling in angels. In fact, we are just simply moving ourselves into position that we can see that it were already so. Because guess what? If you are imagining it, if you desire it, it exists, even if you've never seen it before. There is an aspect of you that is communicating clearly to you 24/7 that there is something greater. And sometimes you unconsciously act as if you're a master and you're already displaying and showing these qualities. So back when I was a waitress, and I'm trying to figure out what I could do. And I was at Denny's. I'm going to tell you, it was Denny's. So if you're in the U.S., you know what that is. And it's just a coffee shop, and it's not even a very good one. But they had a very clear system of how they did everything. I knew exactly what the routine was. And I became manager training. I became a training manager in front of the house operations, and I got it right away about my role in helping clients. The people that were in my life as influencers were amazing people in this paradigm, in this little bubble of reality called a coffee shop. Like I had Betty Barnes, who was my training waitress, who said, listen, never let anyone make you feel bad about what you're doing for a living. You are actually in business for yourself, and you make more money than most women do, and really, truthfully, than most men, and you can go to work anywhere. So you have a lot to be proud of. And besides that, I want you to know something, Kathy, and that's what they used to call me. She said, you never know what influence you have on people. You could be the only smile. You could be the only friend they have that day. And to know that, for her, that was such a big value. And she aligned me immediately to being a force for good. I'm going to cry when I think about Betty. Being a force for good in the world, in this job that a lot of people, frankly, look down on. But I could go into that job with pride, knowing that I was someone who made a difference. Now, here's the back teaching on that. What I didn't know was that was a deep value of mine, and that was an indicator of what I wanted to create in the future and who I wanted to be. Okay? So there's something in your past, something you've done, and we're keeping this real loose. We're not using a worksheet. Mukesh will probably design a brilliant worksheet later. But there's something that I did, and it's like, well, what about that job made me feel good? And I was like, I could be the only smile that day. I could be, because it was a breakfast waitress, and sometimes I work nights. But I just really wanted to be that influence and a friendly face in a hard world. The next thing was, she taught me systems. But then the other thing that happened is, if you've ever been to Denny's in a coffee shop, they have a bar there, and there's a counter that everybody sits at, and there's usually like 10, 12 bar stools, something like that. And there'd be this row of people. And that was like a stage. It literally felt like a stage, and I was performing, and I was talking, and we would laugh and cut up, and I would deliver these jokes, but then we would get into these meaningful coffee shop conversations. But people were coming every day to listen to me, and I actually had all of these regulars, and then people started lining up, and I didn't know that I actually had a speaking career as a waitress at 21 years old. I'm just sharing these ideas about potential and life and beliefs and what is reality really, and it never occurred to me that people did that for a living.
Yes.
Right? And so that was the kind of stuff I talked about. And I was still having struggles and that kind of thing. I was like, wow. But it gave me happiness and joy. And so here I had this value that I really felt deeply that I could bring to the world, that, hey, I could have a positive effect. And there's this thing that happens when I'm communicating with people, and there's this exchange of ideas, and then like the setup and delivery, even on a really well-placed joke, just like it created this inside. Then I noticed, even waiting tables, that there was something about my energy. And I would like be in the restaurant and I could kind of look, and there would be customers that would be coming in. There'd be a crowd, and I would look at the crowd of customers come in and go, oh yeah, these are my people. And I could recognize them, but there was a way I started learning that I could send out my energy, and I was affecting the cooks, and I was affecting my people, and I was having these mental rehearsals about coming in and being a big burst of energy, and I wanted to see if the conversations that were happening in my head would happen in real life. Okay?
This is so true because every leader is a performer. And
Right.
because when I deal with the entrepreneurs, and this is what I found, at the end of the day, they are a performer. Like they start from their home. Are
Mm-hmm.
they like the way they behave with their kids, the way they behave with their employees, the way they lead those teams, and the moment they have that, like, love and passion for their own kids, the moment they have their love and passion for their own employees, the way they see them, or even as a core team members, or even
Right.
to looking at their suppliers, giving that respect to their
That's
suppliers,
right.
and that whole energy, those vibrations goes into their heart, and those vibrations then reach to their clients, or even their potential clients, or even potential to potential clients to whom they are going to deal with even a 6 month or a year down the road.
Right. Right. Exactly. And here I am. I'm a waitress, and I'm having these amazing experiences. I mean, I'm feeling like I'm a force for good. I'm communicating my thoughts, feelings, and ideas, and people are positively responding. I'm starting to have some kind of like psychic awakening, kind of like noticing the energy. I'm getting kind of well paid, but I was miserable. And it's like there's something more I should be able to do. So through a series of events, my mother getting apartments, I got into apartments, but then it was like I never liked this, but turned out I was kind of good at organization and management. But the thing that I really liked, again, was I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. I love the conversations that happened with the vendors or with the leaders, the bosses, and I never felt like I was a low employee. I always felt like an equal with the boss. And I always got attention with bosses because probably being raised up in a family business, I just, saw myself as a business person, and I saw myself, and this is how I want to see what you to see yourself, as a business builder. Because no matter what you're doing, even if you have a job, you are building someone else's business. So I already saw myself that way. I'm a business builder, and when I had successes on my properties, I trained every person in my office, from the maintenance man to the guy who picked up the garbage and the leasing agents, that we were all in the business of building the business of the person that hired us, right? But you are a business builder, but then I had to say, what is the business you're really in? What is the business you're really in? What brings you happiness? What is it about this that you really like? And so when the maintenance man said, I love seeing a problem and fixing it. I love when an apartment's ugly and torn up, and then I go in and it's transformed. So they were in the business of transforming, and then they were also in the business of serving. And I got to find out what each one's business was. So I designed the job and communicated with them in a way that they could get the greatest satisfaction. But then I gave them freedom to say, look, here are the parameters that need to be met. Here are the goals according to the boss, right, of what he needs to see in order to know that we have a successful business, which is the other thing that a lot of people don't know. So I said, here's what the boss needs to see. Here's the parameters. Here's the deliverables. But then I'm going to give you freedom to achieve those goals within these parameters. And my properties had wild success. and people were always trying to hire the properties away, hire me away, and I became like a takeover rehab specialist. So that means I would go into these horrible, terrible neighborhoods and take this broken down, dangerous, dirty property, rent out prostitutes and drug dealers. It was really fun. And then transform the property, and then I would go on. And yet still, it's like, as much as the hard work and the things we accomplished and got paid really well, I never had a single day that I went home and went, yes, I did it. Yes. Because there was something in me that was wanting to express. And so I went on my journey, and I was always interested in hypnosis and NLP and all the stuff, but I still was involved with what do I do? What do I do? What do I learn? But then what I noticed, and here's what I really want to address here too, is when I got into the community of people who were interested in mindset and making positive changes, then they got involved in the business of eliminating blocks and limitations. They'd have these beautiful affirmations. They'd have beautiful stones and rocks and pictures, and they would do, these beautiful processes. But they got into the business of clearing blocks and eliminating limitations, and that became their primary focus. And I was not really seeing people get results. And it was really frustrating because someone would do a clearing and they go, wow, I saw that I had a past life, and this is why it happened. And if you're a straight business person or maybe another tradition, you go, oh my gosh, what kind of kooks did we get into? I'm just telling you a little bit about my experience. What they did is they replaced the story, but they did not really get into the business of being a creator who produced certain results. They still saw themselves as a victim and someone at the effect of the world and tied down and hindered by limitations. But if we remove the limitations, then that would create confusion, because the way people identified themselves was a victim, as someone who was limited, someone who didn't get what they needed. They had their belief about what the world was telling them. And so then they're on this journey and they're circulating. And I would have so many people that I could get them to a certain point that they would break through. And then something would happen and they would crash and come rolling backwards, because it's like, what is the missing piece here? What is it? And it really turned out to be identity. And I really think if I had not gone on this particular journey in the last few years, I wouldn't start getting it. I sent an email out today where I shared a message about, a little bit about this, but I was recently in a meeting, or I was in this marketing meeting, and if you've ever gone to any kind of like training or really, like you go to these real estate classes, or you go to an opportunity meeting, or let's say you are in business for yourself because you have a skill or a gift, which I did, and I made a mistake that a lot of people do. Even if I were a mechanic and I wanted to own my own mechanic shop or something, well, basically a lot of people buy themselves a job and they keep themselves in the role of being the technician, rather than being the business owner and saying, what do I need to do in order to create a thriving business? If there's a skill set that you want to develop and grow into a business, and the reason you have not been able to get to the next level and say, how do I create a business, is because you're seeing it from the role of being the technician or the employee. And an employee cannot create a business. But a business builder who's working a job can create a business.
Yeah.
Do you see the difference? Mukesh is getting excited. Okay.
Oh yeah, I just love this because that's the mistake I personally did for actually 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I was like a doer, as an employee in my business.
Right.
And the sad part was that when I approached my clients, most of the business people are very highly intuitive. This is what I found out, and they could see just like that. Who is this guy? Is he a business person or is he an employee? And the moment they felt that I have that employee mindset, they didn't give me the business.
Right.
And I was, like ready to serve them and do things for them. And I said, what am I doing wrong? Right. And as you just pointed out, the moment I understood the whole understanding of big vision, And I said, bingo, I got it. Like, first thing I did was I defined my big vision, and I'm thankful to you, Catherine, that you helped me a lot to define my personal big vision. And and then the next thing was the core identity. Who am I? Like, without all these titles of program manager and everything, who am I truly as a person? And the
Mm-hmm.
moment I figured it out, and that's the good part was, that's where the flower of my business kind of opened up.
Right.
That's where the big vision opened up the moment I understood what is my core identity. And yes, like, I say that, every day now. Yes, I did it.
Yes.
Yes, I am the one who is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that really shift the responsibility from somebody else to myself.
Yeah.
Because now, if I do something's wrong, then I'm again saying, yes, it was my fault,
Yeah.
right? And I acknowledge that. And the one of the major thing was that, because of with this everything, like, actually you helped me a lot to giving my superposition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's where I say, bingo, we got it. And because this understanding of myself as in a superposition, and in a with big vision and core identity, I said, bingo, now this message, most of the entrepreneur who are in this mode, maybe in a struggle mode, or maybe like they may be making millions, but their expenses are slightly higher than that millions.
Right.
Look at us just saw in the history of how our one of the great singer, like, died with the drug overdose, and then we found out that one of the major stress was the expenses were over than the income,
Right.
or there was a potential of fear inside them that they are not going to produce that.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, all of a sudden they have more responsibilities and demands on them, and they never really moved up into like, hey, I'm a creator here. I'm the one in charge of my career. Right. And they could not really see themselves as creating that. Hey, by the way, before I tell you this next piece, do you know why we keep calling it big vision? Well, big means something. Big means bold. B is bold, I is inspired, and G is great, which means it's in that boldness, when we know that we are in that right vision, there's like this extra confidence or this boost, and you go, I don't even know how I'm doing this. I can't believe I said that, but there's something propelling you, and you're showing up in a bigger way. Then inspired, it's like there's this extra energy. You're in this connection. Inspiration means breath plus action. So life is breathed into your action, and information is coming in directly from your spiritual source in alignment with your values. And then greatness, it's something great. It's an idea that's greater than itself, that serves even more good in its fulfillment. So that's why we're throwing around this word big. I'm going to drop that in right now so that you know that we are not talking about, hey, do this, here's a process. We're going to take you through a meditation very soon, and then we're going to talk, we're going to talk a little bit about what Big Vision Mastermind's about. And then I think we might throw up some questions if people have time. I know a lot of people are on their lunch hour. But the thing that, here I've told you a little bit about my journey, but I want to tell you about this dentist that I met recently, and this kind of sums this up on how I made the shift, on really what was the key piece. So right now I'm going through the process of, hey, I really want to communicate to as many people as possible in the most effective way. I want to create a highly profitable business because at age 56 this year, I am in a position that a lot of people are in, that I need to create what I call 5x income. Okay, so 5x income, which means I have some debt that needs to get taken care of, some things that I accrued in my business and personal life. Then there's the income that I need to support me now. There's the income that I need for the future to take care of my future needs. Then I have income that I want to produce because I want to leave a legacy to my daughter and my granddaughter. My granddaughter, Maddie, I just, of course, think she's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I am completely 100% committed to her success in the world. And so I want to be able to support her educational pursuits, but also her passions, so that she can grow into a confident confident young woman prepared to create anything that she wants in her life. I want to be an inspirer and encourager to her. So I want to have the money that creates as many opportunities for her, so that if she says, I want to go to art camp, or there's a camp this in my area for she has dyslexia. So for kids with learning disabilities, so that they actually learn to they're riding horses, and so it kind of builds some deeper confidence, and they get the relationship with the horse. It's an incredible healing opportunity for her. But then there's the income, so I want to be able to pay for that and do things like that and invest in like that for her. And then there's the money that I need so that I can enjoy my life and take the classes that I want to take and travel. To me, I've only gotten to take one international trip at this point. I'm a traveler by nature, and there's a lot of experiences that I want to create and be able to, do in my life. So that's 5x money. Well, you may have more things that you want to do that maybe you need to create 6x or 10x income right now. And right now, based on your current level of consciousness, you might go, how would I ever do that? What kind of skills? How would I get into a marketplace? Who would listen to me, which is another big one I hear. I want to write a book. I want to be an author. I want to be a teacher, but who am I? Who would listen to me? Maybe you only have 3x. Maybe your 1x just isn't enough. But think down right now and make a note to yourself. What areas of life do you need to create income for? And hey, is it okay to be rich? Yes. I think you can help way more people when you're rich than when you're poor. And then if you're upset and things didn't go well, I think we could cry much more comfortably in a Mercedes than on a curb. Don't you think, Mikesh? But
Oh yeah.
but I mean,
Better to be rich.
but what I found about rich people was there are, such generous, giving people. They're always thinking about who they can help and they can serve, and how their opportunities can help more people get jobs, become empowered. They think in terms of opportunities they're creating, and I want to be an opportunity creator. Okay, so I'm learning marketing. I'm attending these classes. I'm learning how to communicate my vision and my purpose, and I have an idea about how I want to help people build their platform who are kind of like me, kind of unique, and have this kind of like mixture of skills that they don't quite know what to do with. So I'm in these, and I'm in a marketing class, and I'm sitting right next to this beautiful dentist, and they're, if you've ever gone to these things, you get completely overloaded with information and social media and email marketing and direct mail marketing and tactics and your USP, and it goes on and on and on. And then, oh, by the way, here's all the programs you buy, and then you do all this stuff to learn how to do it, and then you start doing it. Then you'll start getting some results. And this guy had been a dentist for like 25 years, and what I know about dentists, I actually have several in my as private clients. They have a very difficult business. One, could you imagine all day long people dread seeing you? You have all that energy of the fear and anxiety right there. Nobody, I haven't really met people who were called to be dentists, but they were called to serve. But it was the big opportunity, and he was in kind of a smallish town, but not too small. But he was just looking at it, and he was just getting more and more like, deflated as he's going on, and he's just like, I don't see how I'm going to learn all this stuff. Oh. I just don't have any idea how I'm going to do all of this, right? And I heard something kind of different. It's like, I don't know how I'm worth the extra time and energy, because I don't think I can really have what I want, right? So I'm going to read exactly what he said. He said, I see all this stuff, and I have no idea how I can do this, what I would do differently in my business, or if it would even be worth it. Those were his literal words. So you might have seen an opportunity. You might have seen like a chance to go into a business. Hey, I'm involved with a direct marketing company, and I'm hanging out with the millionaire level people. And then they actually had to get coached on how I could add that to my business and be in integrity, right? I don't want to do opportunity meetings. That's, ugh. Please don't make me do that. So that's what he was talking about. I don't know how I would do it, if it would be worth it. But what I heard was, I don't see how I would be worth the extra time and energy because I don't think I can have what I really want. That's really what he's saying. And when you don't take that chance, when you allow yourself to be hindered by this idea of, oh, I don't know how, I've never done it before, other people can do it, why can't I? You're allowing yourself, it's really the worst kind of extravagance. I'm just going to say it. Because you're focusing on yourself and your limitations, and you're holding yourself back from having richness in your personal relationships. You're not even, I mean, we're having a big family celebration because my uncle is turning 80 and everybody's coming in, and then people are already like, I'm getting all you want to hear your family programming, put in a reunion, right? Do a reunion, and you'll hear everyone's negative thinking. Well, I don't know if I can now. Oh, we can't chip in. We can't do this. And it's like, wow. Because of their poverty consciousness, someone that they love very much and respect, they cannot allow themselves to have an idea of how is there a way that we could get together and be together as a family and celebrate and support each other. Because we love each other, we do. We're like a lot of families, we don't get to be together. But I heard all the limiting beliefs start showing up. I'm not worth the time. I can't show up. So here's what I told him. I said, I went through the same thing. I was really struggling and all the stuff I'm supposed to do. But then what really changed for me was I had to think about what all the stuff to do, but what do I really need in order to really feel happy and fulfilled? For me as a person to express. Now, is there money involved? Yeah, there's a certain level of income I'd like to have, but if I don't have the money, can I still be fulfilled? Yeah, because I know actually I'm kind of a magic manifester. You would not believe the stuff that I can just like attract into my life, like literally from food to beautiful furnishings and clothes and automobiles. That stuff comes in. So do I necessarily need money? No. Does it matter where I live? No. But what matters to me is, are there going to be people that I can be in relationship with and give into their lives? It comes right back to what I was talking about, what I needed as a person to really make it as a good waitress, right? Those are the exact same things I needed in order to become a happy, fulfilled adult. But instead of seeing myself as someone who was limited, I actually had the opposite problem. There were too many choices, and I got lost in the choices and all of the things I would have to do instead of focusing on what will make me happy and fulfilled. And then from there came this new flow of questions. And these are the questions I want you to ask yourself. Now, you're going to get to listen to this recording, and the questions are actually in the email, if you'll check your email. What do I want to be to the people in my personal and professional life? What do I want to be to them? Well, for me, first and foremost is I want to be a friend. People who are my clients and my students, what I've noticed, the people who are in my world are this. I like them personally, and I could see myself being their best friend. So I want to be a friend to them, and I want to be that honest friend that'll say, look, you're bullshitting yourself. But I also want to be the friend that says, hey, you can do this. I want to be your encourager, okay? But then, how do I want to impact others? Well, I went back to, hey, I want to be able to be a smile, but I want people to feel lighter and have more energy because they were with me. Well, now, that was just then. But what I also noticed was I was always a natural encourager, and there was some gift I had in instilling confidence in people. And I have to say that probably came from my mom. She could always say, no matter how down I was, she could actually point me back to the strengths, the truth of who I was, and there was this encouragement. So I want to instill extreme confidence in people, and I want them to feel empowered to face any challenge that they may encounter, because those challenges are not going to stop. In fact, the closer you get to your goal, the greater the challenge is. Hey, that happens in every area of life. And guess what's going to happen too? Life's going to start pushing you sideways. Your relatives are going to start acting up. Illnesses are going to come in. Disappointments will show up. Your car will act up. You name it. But none of that can matter. And as you align firmly and clearly to what you desire, what happens is all of those concerns and considerations, just as quickly as they arrive, are immediately resolved and a greater solution arrives. So you're not distracted by what's happening or not happening. You're staying focused on your goal, and you're flexible, and you're moving through and over your obstacles like water flows over rocks. Because the rocks will always be there, but it just does not do any way, nothing to hinder you as water. In fact, those experiences, just like water flowing over rocks, will purify you and make you clearer in your resolve. Okay? So then the next question is, well, what do I want to experience? Well, I really want to have the experience of having like $1 million year. I want to have the experience of celebrating with my friends. I want to have this experience. So then from there, it's like, what is the experience? So that would actually be, well, what do I want my business to look like? There's some other questions that come on that underside, right? What do I want to experience? I want to experience some interactions one-on-one. I want to meet some people. I want to be in some beautiful places. And then finally, what am I willing to do? And more importantly, what am I willing to stop doing in order to have those experiences? So if we were just to ask that one question right now, one question, what are you willing to stop doing right now in order to have the experiences that you want to create in your life? Like to be able to wake up and go, you know what, today's going to be a great day. I don't know what it holds in front of me, but today's going to be a great day. And at night, go to sleep going, that was good, and sleep deeply. And to know that when you meet people, you're meeting a friendly world. But what are you willing to stop doing? And the thing that I had to, confession time, I had to stop blaming other people for my circumstances. I had to stop blaming employers. I had to stop blaming my clients. I had to stop blaming my family. My client says, I don't get it. My clients, they won't pay. My clients only want to go to a certain level. But I wasn't willing to show up in the greatness of my truth. I did not create an invitation. I didn't show up.
I believe now you are sending them a clear invitation so that all these lessons learned from you, they can learn themselves, like without wasting their time for so many years or without investing that much, and they can enhance their life and grow to a next level within a very shortest possible time.
Yes, because we've actually created a program that is delivered in a way that you can access the modules. We're doing these really focused teachings. We're delivering seven modules, and it's about getting that big vision. And we're calling it the Big Vision Mastermind. Bold, inspired, great. And when we're talking about vision, we're not really talking about visualization, but we're talking about being able to rise up into that new level so that you're getting that clear message of what's available to you. You're seeing the actual steps, but then it's coming in a way that it's aligned to you and your unique purpose, and it simply feels right to do it. And so all that information is contained. So what Mukesh and I have designed is a 7-module program that's going to be delivered directly. We'll have live calls that you can listen to, but it's not really necessary because of the way we're delivering it. You'll get invited to a private members area. Then we have a lot of little targeted messages. Now, we are just telling you about it right now. We're going to be doing the actual announcement of it, but we have a special offer for you that you're going to be seeing in your email very soon. That the way we want to set this up is on a way that you get the program, but then you also get a free membership so that you can get supported along the way so that you can be in relationship with other people, because that's number one. You've got to be with other people that you can get the feedback, but also you need to be around successful people. So we're going to be bringing in some teachings from amazing people too. And then you have a way to track your day, and we're going to be giving you some tools and strategies, but we're moving you out of process into progress. So the way that we're setting this up, and I'm going to switch over to Mikesh to explain to you how we have that priced out for you, because we wanted to set it up in a way that it was just a no-brainer that everybody could afford it and they could get started right away. So Mikesh, how are we pricing this?
Yeah, like just to, I'd like to give you that honor to announce the prize first. And for these special group of people who are joining us through this calls.
The regular price on this is $297 is what we're doing. And then we are actually, if you register today, you actually are going to be deducting the $29 that you already paid for this call, which makes that price 29 from 297 was 268.
Yeah.
The way we're setting this up, though, is we are doing it so that it's in 3 payments. And we're just setting you up on the membership price. And then what will happen is, at the end of the 3 payments, then you'll have the option. If you want to continue on with the membership and keep enjoying those benefits, you can. You become a member right away. But it's 3 payments of $97. And then it automatically converts to the monthly membership of $97. And for that, you're going to be we'll be doing special conference calls focusing on different part of your life. We'll be getting targeted videos. We're going to be doing interviews. We're going to be creating a lot of material for you. But you know what, Mikesh, when we were talking, I said, I buy programs all the time. And I always get this big dump of information on top of me. It comes one of 2 ways. It's parceled out. It's like, here's week 1, week 2. And I go, that's too slow. And then, or there's this big avalanche. So we're actually going to be building this as we go along, because we're going to be responding to you. We've got our core teaching of what we're going to be covering that is about, finding that vision, finding that core competency, clearing not clearing, but how can we actually take that family program that used to be a block to you and turn that into a building block for you, so that it becomes part of your story and that you build your success on. Then how do you get the big vision, and then how do you start building out what it is that you want to create, and then lead you into action right away, because so many people keep deferring the action. In fact, if you'll notice, we jumped into this right away. Most people might have waited 3 weeks, but I said, you know what? I want to demonstrate the power of taking imperfect action, and that's why we're doing this. So you're going to be getting an email, right? So we got the imperfect part perfect, right? We created it perfectly.
Exactly.
So
And I'm so happy that
yeah.
I'm so happy that we are doing this, because one of the main thing is that yes, this group of people who are going to join, they are not just going to get just the 7 modules itself. Basically, our goal is that most likely we'll be starting this end of this month or 1st of April. Time-ish is that zone, and we'll keep you posted. But the main thing is that you will get these 7 modules, and we will be doing this survey, taking your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
As Joy just asked, he wanted to know more about in depth of core identity. So in these modules, we will be talking about in depth of core identity.
Right.
And also, the main important thing is that after these 7 modules, in the, let's say, month of May, we will be giving you a next set of, because we felt that the deficiencies which I personally found in me, or through learning, through the expensive $2,000 worth of courses, we are the lessons learned and how they were beneficial to us. We are going to bring that out on every single month, and
right.
Basically not just every single month. It will be every single week you are going to get new kind of learning in that. Just to give you example, we will be handing in a 2-way street, because as you can see that Catherine and I are Catherine and myself are like two different energies. So like, but at the same time, we are very highly like intuitive and spiritual, and also at the same time we are highly processes oriented as well. Like a so-called like how to start with the day in the morning. So like your appointments, like your action steps, and also did you make any money today? Because when we put our focus on because the energy goes where the focus is there.
Yeah, we're
So the
creating
main thing is
measurements for
measurements.
people.
That is right. So you will have these kind of PDFs from us which you can print and put in your binder and start following that on a day-to-day basis. And then we will be also doing a like a weekly calls with the as a group calls to answer the that previous this week's questions, so that like it's going to be like as she said, like if you want to hear all the so-called programming, have a reunion. But I call it, if you want to like if you want to position yourself to next higher level, have a reunion of entrepreneurs,
Yeah. Oh, put on a
because
webinar and you're
they
going to
bring
find out
out.
what your beliefs are.
That's right. Like you bring those, those like if one entrepreneur has certain belief, or I call it negative belief. Now you say that, do I have this? Okay, let me position myself into a positive aspect of it, where I
Yeah.
don't have to clear it. I don't have to like say focus on it. Or how do I clear it out? How do I do this? How do I do that?
There's no
Is
clearing.
you are
It's
just
shifting.
in super. Uh, you are just shifted to that super position itself. So that's what we are making a team of entrepreneurs around us. And also, as like you will be seeing that we are going to be interviewing. So one of the good thing is going to happen is that we are going to start picking up the group of like these are members who are entrepreneurs, and we'll interview them, and we'll bring their interviews for everybody for our this group as well. And so this way it's like we are bringing your exposure out.
Right.
But the main
Yeah.
thing is we are honest in front of this core group, so that you don't need to shy that what are your so-called deficiencies, because the whole idea is somebody else may have a solution. Like just to give you example, like somebody is a like a printer, for example, right? And the group, somebody needs a card, so this printer whom we are interviewing, he could give, okay guys, for this group I'll give X percentage of discount. Because
Right.
if Vista.com can do, or .ca, Vista.ca can deliver to North America like Canada or US, because I'm in Canada, she's in US, so they can deliver in any like the major
Hmm.
countries. And if they can do, our entrepreneurs can deliver their product and services as well,
Can you tell we have a
right?
big vision
So
about this? Yeah,
yes, this is
I
a
want to
big,
pause there because you're so excited, but I don't want to overwhelm everybody with all the information. So here's the thing
okay,
that
you
Mikesh
carry
is
on.
saying, that this is going to be high touch, highly responsible for the same kind of price that you might pay just to be able to listen in on a call. And we're not creating this program just like when I was reading the newspaper, oh, I got to fit myself into this. We're actually responding to you. And we know what the framework is. We know what needs to be created. I've actually been releasing some of the notes out into the stream, like, hey, here's some of our ideas that you're going to be learning about the brain science. You're going to be learning about your internal structures, but you're also going to learn how to take action and create measurements and results, and then be able to understand those results and keep moving forward. That's what we want you to do. And then our goal is to take people into that next level that they know that they're bumping up against. Okay? So we're doing this at a very reasonable price. In fact, we'll send the details to you. We're going to just make it so easy for you to say yes. Okay? And we promise we'll take good care of you, and we always over-deliver because me and Mikesh can't help ourselves. But you're not
Yeah,
in this alone. Usually when
yeah,
people don't buy a program, it's not because they don't believe in the effectiveness of the program. It's because they don't believe in themselves or their ability to complete the program. And we are designing this group so that we can be in relationship with you, build up your confidence, take you through those small steps that finally, next thing you know, you're just taking off on your own and you're getting results. That's what we're after. So we see it for you. So thank you for letting us tell you about that part. Now, Mikesh, we promised to take people through the visualization that's just a piece of the I see potentials
Yes.
experience that we create so that you can go in. So when we first teach you this and take you through, first it seems like it's a little long, but then what we're doing is we're training your brain so that your brain just naturally goes to the highest and best solution. So I'm going to take a little sip of water, and I'm going to encourage you to do that. And if you're listening to the call, let's stretch. Let's do a little stretch, move around a little bit. Get a little drink of water. I don't know if I've told y'all lately how in love I am with the people who get on these calls, and I have the best clients and students in the world. I just do. And the times I've got to go to, have the seminars and workshops, I haven't done those in a while because, frankly, I was on the road, I think, one year, something like 40 weeks of the year, and I really got burnt out and run down from it, and so I switched over to teleseminars. But I want to start coming back out to meeting people. So I've been going back out into my community here in Dallas-Fort Worth, and I just have been having so much fun meeting and connecting with everyone. I kind of feel like a beauty queen, Mikesh. Like I walk around and go, oh, yes, it's you. Hello, there she is. She hasn't been out for a while. Oh, hello, how are you? But I just forgot how much I loved everybody. It's been like a family reunion for me. So I just want to say to people who have been my friends and supporters all this time as I've been going through my journey, how much I love you and appreciate you. I just
You deserve
have to
it.
start with that.
You just deserve it, and we all deserve it.
Well, thank you. But we all go through the journey. The thing is, the blessing is that we don't have to go through it alone. That there is someone, even if we can't see them, that is witnessing you, praying for you, believing in you, holding up your highest and best good. And what stops you from seeing it sometimes is because you're focused on the circumstances. But there is someone whose eyes are on you all the time. And you are in people's thoughts. You do pop up. Okay, and you're never alone. There's always someone right there. Okay? So I'm going to, Mikesh, I'm going to go ahead and be leading this if that's okay. And I need one more
Yes,
little
that's
sip.
good.
See, I'm already going into the theta zone. I'm already in love with everybody again. So here's what we do. We actually first connect into our hearts. And it doesn't matter if you're even listening to the recording, you're watching this, a few hours later, days later, whenever you see this. Just know that there is no such thing as or time or space. There's only now. And right now, focusing on your own heart, connect into the people that you care about, the things that you care about. And just count some blessings, some good things in your life. And allow that love that you have for people and those blessings that you're counting, even if there's no more than 1 or 2 molecules of blessing that you could see right now. Just focus on those molecules of love and blessing. And as you focus on it, it's just very much like focusing on one little teeny pinprick of light in the darkest and blackest of nights. That as you focus on that light, it grows and expands. And suddenly, you're able to see so much by that little bit of light, and yet the light grows greater and greater. Breathe into that light and allow that light to shine on every part of who you are, who you've been, and who you're destined to become. And right now, there is an aspect of you that is a master, who is eternal, that absolutely knows and understands what the path is, the mission is, the purpose of everything that's going on, and absolutely knows the truth of your potential and your greatness. And right now, I just consciously come into relationship with the master that you are, and the master in me greets the Master in you. And I am blessed by your light. And my intention is to be a blessing to you by my light. And as we're focusing on the Master that you are and the Master I am, right now we're in this gathering of Masters. And so let's just all come into alignment with this light, this love, and this blessing. And as we do that, this light intensifies and grows. So now, let's bring our conscious awareness back into becoming aware of our physical body, allowing our body to be completely supported exactly where we are, the way we are. Now allow yourself to be supported by the earth, and in fact, feel your connection to the earth and the earth's connection to you. Picture, visualize, or imagine that you have long energy roots coming out through the bottom of your feet and even from the base of your spine, and you're connecting in to the earth, and those energy roots are going deep, and you're connecting right in to the source of earth, that great iron crystal at the center of the earth. And those energy roots are starting to spread out and connecting in to diamonds and rubies and even hidden treasures and undiscovered wealth. Just allow that energy to come right up from the earth to mix and mingle with your body, supporting your physical body as we bring in these higher vibrations. You're doing it exactly right. In fact, you may actually feel a lot of energy in your lower back, and your lower body could feel a little heavy now. So right now, let's just allow that heart light energy and that energy in that lower body. You might even use your hand to kind of mix those energies. And that brings that energy fully into your body, present here and now, completely aligned and loved, witnessed and known as a master. But also, I want to invite you to become aware of your spiritual connection that appears to be like a pole of light that's coming directly from Source. And we could call that the universe or God, your higher self, the eternal, however you think about that. But that connection to all that is. And allow that connection to come down through the top of your head, down each side of your spine, and go right down into the earth, connecting in with your root. And those roots, there we go. And now we're going to blend that spiritual light energy with our heart energy and with this earth energy so that our body is 100% supported in every level of our being. Now I want to invite you to very gently, with your eyes closed, roll your eyes up and imagine that you are floating up this golden pole of light. And you're rising up above, and you could actually look down and see yourself going higher and higher. But you go up faster if you bring your attention up and go out past the outer edges of darkness, breaking through the edges of darkness into the pure white light of open potential. Eyes up, and allow yourself to just come up into the greatness and the truth of your power. Allow yourself to just expand and get as big as you truly are. Oh, so wonderful to be free of that little body, very much like a genie in a little teeny bottle. You're even greater than that genie. So now, in this position, I want you to just let your eyes relax and move yourself into a position that you could look down that pole of light, and like you're looking down, and you could see this version of yourself where you are right now in your home or your office or your car, maybe you're outside, wherever you are. But you see yourself with your eyes closed. And that person has an idea about themselves, that version of yourself. That maybe they're broke, or that they're not enough, or that there's not enough time, or that they're alone, or everything's too much. But there's a way they're seeing themselves, but you see something different here, and just notice, what do you know now about this person who's trying so hard each and every day that they don't know? What do they need? And I would suggest maybe they just need some love and acceptance for exactly who they are right now. So right now, in this higher space, move yourself so that you could actually see, imagine, or picture unconditional love and acceptance coming down as a ball of light, traveling down. Just send that right down to that version of yourself. Your eyes are relaxed, and wherever you need to look in order to see this and witness this unconditional love coming in to every aspect of that person, all the ways that they've suffered and lost, and all the ways that they hurt and that they doubt themselves and they are less than lovely. Maybe they get gripey or bitchy, or maybe they get lazy. Whatever, all those labels they give themselves, just allow that unconditional love to meet each and every thought they have about themselves now. And notice how those thoughts and images and ideas from the past or the present or the things they project into the future start to unwind, unbind, dissolve, release, disappear. And they are free. Oh, they're free. And just feel that energy coming into your body now as this unconditional love is coming right in. Now bring your attention back to being the one who's looking down, seeing this energy just flowing through. And now let's just allow that version of yourself that you saw that was suffering, that was struggling, that was doubting, that was frustrated, that kept trying so hard, just bring that part of you up, up, up. And right now, Mikesh and I are also witnessing, and we're with you. And right now there's a message in this space. There's something you need to know. That you don't have to suffer anymore. That you don't have to do this alone. We're here and we're ready to help. And we're going to send you directly to Source. We're going to send you exactly where you need to go to get exactly what you need to do, because even in this position, only you know what you truly need. You know what you're suffering with, but you really don't know how to fill that need. And so let's just take you directly to Source, and we're going to send you right there, that version of yourself. And right now, from this position of looking down that pole of light, there's maybe some people in your life. There's people you work with. There's bosses, employees, family members, whoever's in your life that they haven't quite known how to help you or support you, or they could even actually have been unconsciously hindering you, or maybe they're actively hindering you. Maybe there's some anger or resentment. So now all of these people who are in your life right now, let's allow them to go up, 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 out into Source, for them to get what they need to have a new thought, idea, feeling of what's possible in their life. Let's let them go directly to Source and get their needs met, because you're trying so hard to take care of everybody else. And you don't have to do that anymore. Right now, that version of yourself that went directly to Source, let's bring that part of you back. And you too are right here at the portal of the golden pole of light. And you see your higher self, and there I am, there's Mikesh. And maybe you're starting to notice that there's some other helpers and guides. Maybe there's some relatives. Maybe there are mentors and teachers. They're gathering here too. So now, speaking for them, I want you to know that I see you. I see the truth of your greatness. And right now, I speak into your life that whatever you truly desire, if it's more security, if it's success, if it is having a new place to live, if it's having relationships resolved, if it's knowing that your children or your parents are okay, whatever it is you truly desire, I say that I see that it is so, and I bless you. And right now, there's some things that you have been asking to see in your life. Maybe you need to see that big check. Maybe you need to see a contract. Maybe you need to see a solution. So whatever that is, allow that symbol of that to arrive now. So if you've been asking for money, make it a check, make it a stack of cash, something that represents that money coming in. If there's a contract, a job offer, then put a contract there. If you're needing resolution with in a relationship for your parents or your children, or in whatever it is, create a symbol. It could be a heart, it could be a flower, it could be a closed door. It's your unique symbol. And right now, wherever you are, this is your job right now. The thing that you want to create or manifest, I want you to say, roll your eyes up, I see that I now have in my hand, and state what it is that I desire. It is completed, and I am blessed. And now, and right now I'm just noticing some people are actually getting some other symbols in their hand. Go ahead, say, can I get more than one thing? Yes, the answer is yes. Whatever that symbol is, just say, I see it is in my hand, I see it is done, and it is good. I bless it now, and send it right down that portal of light. Now that version of yourself, we're going to go ahead and move this along. Allow yourself to come down. That was struggling. Now see the contract, the money, the symbols coming right into your hand. See the excitement and the energy coming in. Now you as the master being come in. Coming in full support. Embracing that version of yourself. Rewinding, aligning, allowing that energy to come in. And now every person that's in your life, allow them to come into their proper role and position. And even the helpers, the guides, and support. Bring your attention back to your heart. And right now, allow all of that with your heart, which your heart is naturally balancing, blending, and aligning. And we do that because when we align through our heart, the outcome always works out in a way that is in the highest and best good. It's the simplest and most direct path, the most truthful and way of doing things in integrity. And there's extra courage and energy to complete it. Now allow that energy to come right through your body. Allow yourself to ground. And I'm noticing some people may have a little pressure on your head, so massage your forehead and you go, wow, I am open to seeing new potentials in my life now, and I am blessed. Yeah, I'm open to seeing new potentials in my life now, and I am blessed. When you're ready, open your eyes. I would love come back in, make sure that all your fingers rematerialize your toes, kind of stretch and look around a little bit. Woo!
Wow.
We've only got a couple of minutes. We're right at that 90-minute mark, but I wanted to just see if Mukesh, can anybody give any feedback right now on what they experienced there?
Well, there are a few questions as well, so we'll provide them in our next call
Yep,
and
we'll answer them. And when
answer
is
them
that
in
next
next
call
call.
going to be? Will you announce that?
No, not yet.
No, we'll send
Not
an
yet.
email out. Yeah.
That is correct. We'll send them an email out, and also the replay of this recording will be up on this page by tonight,
Yes.
and also with our details of how they can join with us on our next journey.
Oh, one thing we want to mention, we had done a call before this. Because you paid for this call, you get the recording of the previous call, and because you paid for this call, you're going to get the next recording free. So that's why we're saying wait for that. But this page that we sent you the link for the replay page, that is the page that you'll always go to. And we do have a Facebook group, so be sure and join that. And we would love to get your comments and feedbacks, any testimonies, and do it there on the Facebook page. So, Mukesh,
Yeah, I
thank
also
you.
encourage you
Oh,
to
go ahead.
join, with us on this journey, because this is not just our journey. This is your journey as an entrepreneur. Your
Yeah.
journey to where you will start seeing the low-hanging fruits, where you will start seeing the potential in yourself in the first place, and then you will start seeing the potential in your team members, in your clients, in your suppliers, and once you start seeing that, the sky's the limit.
You know, Mukesh, I just want to say one more thing. That's absolutely true. When I came to the other side of this, I felt like, how did I not see all this and know all of this before when it was always there? I feel like I almost had amnesia and forgot about what I could do. Then the action started coming in. You and I connected. I've been some offers are starting to come in. Speaking engagements suddenly have appeared. But then I have started showing up differently. And then just one of my projects that I'm going to be able to do very quickly is going to make me more money than I've earned in the last 2 years. One project, that's like a part-time
Yeah.
thing I want to do that I'm not
Yes.
even going to do the work on. So it's like suddenly you see it, but all the pieces fit together perfectly. And
Yes.
so this is coming up and opportunities are coming in, and I always share my opportunities with my friends. So we want to do this with you. We want to invite you to take action right away, and you'll be getting the links. Mukesh, thank you for your genius.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to everybody who took the action to be on the call, because you are one of the top 5% in the people who make change in the world. Thank you so much. And we just bless you, and we just see you having a great day. Bye-bye.